extraordinary circumstances occur. Haksal, as you can see, about to have that rally to give his team some extra durability with armor as they head into this next engagement. Fleta just a little bit behind on the Mirror Brigitte.
I mean, Vancouver Titans, they can push this slowly, too. They can take their time, man, build up some more ultimates. Just trying to shove Seoul Dynasty back a little bit here as they jump down from the high ground. Fleta a little bit low. Can they keep him alive? The wall goes down. Jaehong goes down as well. A slam in response. Marvel using that Earth Shatter, but they can't turn that into kills. Meanwhile, Bumper grabs 2 and the Vancouver Titans retaking the point 99%. We're in overtime now. Seoul Dynasty, they got to stay on the point if they want to prevent it, but they can't. Vancouver Titans take the first round here on Busan.
And Doa, a lot of these teams right now, what we've seen in stage 1 is a ton of 3 tank, 3 support compositions. Yeah. And Vancouver are the masters of this style of play. Seoul is trying to mirror them, playing the same heroes, but that is such a difficult task when you're facing against the masters of this metagame.
You know, when Seoul Dynasty swaps to this sort of alternate roster that we're seeing with Marvel and Fitz and Zunba in there, they tend to play a more measured style. And while that worked out against New York, I'm not quite sure this is the swap you want to make against a team like Vancouver. I think see what they can do in the second round, but it's a rough start.
Yeah, definitely a rough start for them. We are going to see the same compositions here as we head into our second point. The point is around the drum in the center of the temple. Both teams will be rushing there to try and control it first.
That's right. Priceless ancient artifact. No worries. We're just going to shoot a bunch of rockets and stuff around. It'll be fine.
It's indestructible. Don't worry about it.
Apparently, they put some very durable hard coat on top of that in the future. Seoul Dynasty trying to keep Jaehong alive, but they can't. Janu picks one up early, and that's a great start already for the Vancouver Titans. Goodbye, Marvel, and it's looking rough again for Seoul. They're trying to scramble, but as the point unlocks here, Vancouver Titans going to take it again easily.
And when you win a fight like that, you're going to get your ultimate abilities a lot faster. The more damage you deal, the more healing you do, the faster you're charging those ults. So when you win a fight, as you can see, Haksal already with the blue check, going to have the rally available to him at the start of this next fight. Will make the rest of his teammates very difficult to eliminate.
Yeah, it gives him that extra armor. Have to use it well. Meanwhile, Twilight getting really close to his ultimate too. All right, rally used. Toby down immediately. Seoul Dynasty, they cannot keep losing people like this so quickly. That said, Fitz comes back with 2, including the main tank. But when it's all said and done, Vancouver Titans, despite the brawl, looks like they're coming out ahead. Seoul Dynasty, they just don't have enough people left to take the point.
Yeah, but crucially, Fitz is going to stay alive here. Zarya charges up energy over time with her barriers, her shields, to deal more damage in return. So when Fitz is still alive, means his Zarya is going to be dealing more damage than Seomin Soo, who died and has to respawn with 0 energy.
It's going to make it even slower for Seoul to make a strong attack here on the point. Oh, wow, Bumper around the side with the Earth Shatter, lays a bunch of Seoul Dynasty low. It's going to be the Transcendence in response to Jaehong. Fitz, his Graviton Surge absorbed by John's Matrix, and another one! Both grabs absorbed by the Divas on the other side. 2 ultimates out of commission, and again, Vancouver Titans, man, using the chaos to their advantage, going to win another fight. They're already up to 70%. You gotta wonder at this point, are Seoul Dynasty really gonna get anything rolling here on Shrine?
Yeah, and when we see those ultimates absorbed by the Diva defensive matrix, they get eaten, they just disappear from the game. So it's, you know, getting one of those ults down is a huge boon. Both of them going away in that fight, huge, but Seoul can't retake.
It's gonna be tough. Marvel and Zumba have their ultimates. Toby just got his sound barriers. Get some extra shields on his team. You gotta be careful with it. You can't go down early again. It's gonna be the sound barrier for Vancouver Titans as they get aggressive. Self-destruct used on the Vancouver side as well. Looks like no kills out of that one though. Janu just getting his mech back again. Bumper a little bit low, but we're already into overtime here. 99% for the Vancouver Titans. Seoul Dynasty, they need to win a fight, and they need to win it right now. On the edge with this map. Can they handle it? Trying to charge forward with Jaehong's Transcendence here. Zunba holding on to his self-destruct for a long time. He did get the DMEC onto Janu, but Marvel goes down again. Seoul just cannot keep their main tank alive, maybe? Self-destruct, no, not enough. Vancouver Titans lighten up the kill feed, and that is going to be it for Busan. The retake, Seoul Dynasty got a tiny bit of percent in that fight, but it's gonna be Vancouver Titans getting the 2-0 on Busan and taking the lead here in the semifinals.
Well, Doa, this alternate roster might have worked against the NYXL, but it does absolutely nothing against the Vancouver Titans. We'll see if Seoul is going to make roster adjustments for map number 2.
Got a feeling they probably will, and they're going to need to make some strat adjustments too if they want to take any games off of Titans. We'll see if they can do just that when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. The Houston Outlaws were just about to the end of Rialto when the Atlanta Reigns Dogman kept his entire team alive almost single-handedly through ults from Sombra, Reinhardt, Zarya, and Zenyatta, then followed up with a perfectly timed bionic grenade to punish his enemies and keep his entire team alive for the fight.
Well, that's one way to send a message. And the Atlanta Reigns will take the series, solidify this fight in the playoffs.
Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena here in LA. The Vancouver Titans 1-0 up over Seoul Dynasty. Seoul Dynasty trying out their alternate roster there against the Titans as they did against New York. Worked then, didn't work so well now, did it?
No, it definitely didn't. And I think the hard thing about preparing for the Vancouver Titans with such a short turnaround after facing New York is that the Titans and New York Excelsior play polar opposite styles. You know, coming in, you don't have a lot of time if you're sold to turn around, try and rethink your strategies going in, your positioning, because while NYXL plays very defensively, we see the Vancouver Titans that are just so aggressive, and you know, the Seoul Dynasty just really couldn't hold up under those circumstances with that roster.
Yep, very true. And so that kind of leaves you wondering a little bit what they've got in store for the rest of it. I think we are going to see some roster swaps rather coming into the second map, and this is you know, more kind of the Seoul Dynasty A team. A lot of people would describe like Fitz, Marvel, Zunba. Sadly, Zunba with what a legend he was in Korean esports, but kind of the B team right now on Seoul Dynasty. So now they're gonna, you know, maybe put Fissure in and that kind of stuff, and so we'll see if that changes things.
Yeah, that's right, and I think that's really the exciting matchup. The two tank players, Bumper versus Fissure, as they were talking about on Watchpoint before the show. And both these guys are superstar level tank players in this league. You could make an argument that they are, in fact, the top two tank players in this league. So that's what I think we and a lot of other fans are very excited about seeing.
That's right, Bumper on your screen right now. You know, funny enough, he's got like one of the highest death rates on Reinhardt in the league, but like he gets so much done around that it works out. Let's take a look at our maps again. It looks like Seoul Dynasty has selected Hollywood for our hybrid map. It's a little bit of a different style map than we just saw. You take a control point, kind of a King of the Hill start, but once that happens, you get a payload to push through the rest of the map as the attacker. Once that round is done, we flip sides. You'll see how it works.
Yeah, as you will see. Yeah, the payload is going to be a car on Hollywood that the attacking team must stay close to move, and then, of course, as you're saying, it will flip sides. So we will have an attack round and a defense round. If both teams make it to the map, we will go into a time bank where they get another shot both on attack and defense.
Yep, that's right. And I'm psyched about this, man, because I think, Fissure versus Bumper is going to be much more fun to watch. And speaking of Fissure, let's take a look at our substitutions coming into this map. Maybe we tease a little bit. There he is, Fissure. Who is a better main tank than Fissure? Well, at this point, maybe a couple people. Fissure's still really good. Subbing in for Marvel, of course, at that role. He's going to be playing the Reinhardt, the Winston, the big kind of beefy front line for Seoul Dynasty. And he does it in a more aggressive way than Marvel, too. So the theory is that's going to be a better matchup against Bumper.
Well, also, Fissure really has a lot of shot calling within the team as well, so he's an in-game leader also.
This guy, in my opinion, is the star of Seoul Dynasty right now. Michelle coming in, a new addition to the roster this season, fantastic diva player, amazing Sombra player as well. So he brings a lot of great versatility to what they can do with their squad here. And of course, Munchkin filling in for Fitz here on DPS, cheering himself up. No, those are actually hand warmers. If you want to move fast on the mouse and keyboard, you got to use the hand warmers, right? Jexay subbing in for Toby at the main support position. Of course, going to be playing that Lucio going forward here. Maybe the Mercy.
Yeah, unlikely.
Probably the Lucio.
Unlikely, unless we do see some very interesting sort of multi-damage dealer compositions from Seoul, which I think is unlikely, but possible on point A if they're going to be on attack on this map.
Yeah, I suppose. We'll see. This is going to be a real change in gears for Seoul Dynasty strategically, so now it's really kind of on the Vancouver Titans as well to sort of be ready to handle this. And this is a situation where when you put a tank like Fissure in there, when you put a player like Michelle in there, suddenly Bumper's aggression might lead to opportunities where the backline is kind of ripe for the taking for Seoul Dynasty, and you got to imagine that's going to be kind of part of the plan going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's going to be just such a tough row to hoe going forward for the Seoul Dynasty.
Undoubtedly, yeah.
And you can pull off one upset in this league, but taking out both the number 1 and number 2 seeds is very uncommon across sports as a whole.
Well, the other thing with the Vancouver Titans, too, is that they've come close to losing a couple times in the regular season. We've seen a couple matches going to that 5th tiebreaker map in the regular stage, but somehow, some way, these guys always find a way to sort of dig out the win. So even if you do get the Titans on the ropes, it's so hard to finish them. Nobody's been able to do it yet. Seoul Dynasty, at least going to try to tie things up. Here as we move forward on Hollywood, that is the point right there that you need to take to get that payload moving. Apparently in the story, there's like a Omnic movie executive in there, and you're trying to get him to his parking spot.
Exciting times in futuristic Hollywood.
He's a VIP. But you know what? All of you watching at home, you're the VIPs in my heart. True.
It's a lot of people.
That's right. Hi, Mom. Seoul Dynasty on the attack here. Vancouver Titans taking up the defense this time. Michelle starting out on that Sombra that we talked about. Now, Sombra can get in the back line. She can turn invisible. She can hack opponents and turn off their abilities. Her ultimate lets her do it to everybody in a radius around her. So, hacking that health pack, throwing down the translocator. She can teleport back there if she gets in danger. This is a hero that Michelle is really dangerous on.
And the way to play Sombra, too, is to go on these flanks.
Stunned immediately. Hawksaw so ready with that shield bash on the Brigitte. Seoul Dynasty was waiting for a hack, waiting for that go button to go in, but it's not going to happen. There's a stop button there.
That's right, and it is a long play here for the Seoul Dynasty. You want to get on the flank with the Sombra. You want to harass people, pull them out of position, and get that EMP as fast as possible. Then you force a fight on the point where everybody's in the open, get the EMP, disable the enemy's abilities.
So Seoul Dynasty going to try to go around the left side here, going up on the high ground through the stairway, pushing Vancouver Titans into a less favorable position here, but we might just see a rotation from Vancouver right around the side. We've seen this before from a couple teams, and it is sort of a bit of a dance here between the two teams, the attackers and defenders on this point a lot of times. Keep an eye on the Lucios. They're going to be trying to get behind the main tanks and knock them back into their own team for an easy kill here. Seoul Dynasty now on the point. Vancouver Titan dropping down. Can they push Seoul off, though? It's a little bit of a standoff here. Oh, the hack on the Slime. That's something here. And that's going to be Seoul getting aggressive. They don't have use of that. Lucio Fleta gets a kill into Hawksaw right away. Bumper a little bit low. Vancouver has to back off. And this is a great opportunity for Seoul Dynasty to get some serious percentage built up on the point. They're almost there. Bumper going in, and he goes down. Fleta ready again. And Seoul Dynasty, they look like they're going to unlock this point fast.
Yes, they do, and that was a great reaction to the hack on Slime. So when Slime is hacked, he doesn't have a speed boost. Because he was off to the side, it allowed Seoul Dynasty to use their own Lucio to speed onto the 5 members of the rest of the team. They took a 6 versus 5 fight, and with that player advantage, they get a handy victory here. 4 minutes and 20 seconds for them to push through this next point. They have to push through 2 more points in order to finish the map.
Yeah, it can be tough. They do have a little bit more time in the time bank to do it with, at least, as they roll through the gate. Vancouver Titans back on there. There's the EMP coming in from the Sombra. Michelle setting it up for his team to get a few more kills, and that's going to be an easy team fight win. Everybody that got hit by that, no abilities available for the Titans, and they just get crushed.
And look at the Seoul Dynasty, golden check marks
That's huge.
across the top of your screen right now, except for Michelle with that EMP. They only had to use one single ultimate to win that fight. A huge part of Overwatch is what we call ultimate economy, conserving your ultimates and using them slowly to get maximum advantage and to bait ultimates out of the opponent so that they play at a disadvantage constantly.
So we'll see if the teams can do that here. Both sides using that rally for the extra armor. There's a grab used by Seoul Dynasty. Can then get any kills out of it? We will see. Fissure a little bit low. They keep him alive somehow, some way. No, Twilight finishes him off now. Self-destruct comes in for Vancouver. Soul scatters. They've got the Lucio shield, but after losing their main tank, they have to back away. So unfortunately for Soul, when it's all said and done, they're going to come into this next fight at a bit of a disadvantage.
Yes, they are, and you can see what the Vancouver Titans are very good at. Bumper on the Reinhardt has an ability to charge and pin someone and basically insta-kill them into a wall.
Does
Right
a lot of
there.
damage.
Graviton Surge. Bumper is excellent about setting up those plays. And he's going to get the first pick off and ensure a Vancouver Titans team fight win.
Can get a unshielded opening here going forward, trying to find an opportunity, uses it. Oh, he got stunned during the animation. That ultimate canceled. Bumper has to back away. He kind of telegraphed that one a little bit when he comes bounding towards you. What do you expect, man? Soul Dynasty getting aggressive again, but they lose Munchkin. EMP dedicated again by Michelle, but Fissure so low gets finished off. Soul Dynasty with a few kills, but not enough to swing the tide.
I mean, the bad part about that for Seoul Dynasty was the EMP was used when all the rest of the members were already so low on HP. So it didn't really matter that the Vancouver Titans didn't have access to any of their abilities because it was a couple quick finishing kills onto Fleta and Fissure. They're going to be coming back with another Graviton Surge, though. It's a great opportunity for them to deal some more damage, but the Vancouver Titans, they have so much healing from the ultimates from Twilight and Slime that it may be difficult for the Dynasty to actually finish any of these kills off.
It's a great stat there, man. When Bumper gets the first kill in a team fight, they've won 40 out of 42. That is insane. Graviton Surge used now. They do get the kill into Twilight early. Soul Dynasty striking back. They lose Fissure, but now Bumper goes down on the Vancouver side. So Soul, in the end, finds that opening they were looking for, and now the payload moving again.
Well, if you can eliminate the supports before they have a chance to use their ultimates, that's the key play right there. This is going to be a hack onto Twilight, so no opportunity there to use the Transcendence. That's why the Graviton Surge was thrown out, because they wouldn't have the healing necessary to survive.
So Soul backs away as Vancouver Titans respawn and get back on the payload again. Soul being very methodical about this. Trying at least anyway, but they're down to a minute remaining. They got to push that card a little bit farther to start point C and get a bit more time in the time bank. You gotta win another fight now. Michelle sneaking around behind, looking for the hack. Vancouver Titans getting herself. Oh, Michelle, he's moving the cart by himself. It's a back cap. Oh, he's gonna get it there, maybe. They gotta respond. Michelle getting some real distance on that payload. You gotta watch out for that if you're the Titans. Can't be caught off guard with somebody sneaking behind you.
If there are no defending players near the payload, then even one member of the attacking team can move it, and you get 4 meters away from that, what we call a back capture.
You nearly got it there. That was really close, actually.
Yeah, Vancouver Titans, you have to pay attention to where that Sombra is because she can go invisible and pop up and move the payload.
Yeah, Titan's going to be face palming a little bit there after that one, but we'll see what happens. They're going to drop the Graviton Surge onto Soul. There's the EMP, though. Is it enough to turn it around? Soul Dynasty, they've got the Transcendence from Zinzana keeping everybody alive here. Janu in the back lines, just keeping that payload from moving, nearly gets popped out of that Diva Mech. Now with the sound barrier on Vancouver, they're going to re-engage here. Fissure charges away, Bumper down. They've eliminated the main tank on the Vancouver side, and there goes Slime as well. We're in overtime, but the fight is looking good for Soul so far. Fissure with the shield up. Oh, he turns it, and Janu finds Michelle with that self-destruct. Twilight down, though. Vancouver Titans really trying their best to turn this around, and that's a great stall by Janu on that Diva, actually, but it's only going to last so long. Hawksall back again, but Soul Dynasty having to scramble. Are you kidding me? Bumper back again already. He gets a charge, but Jaehong able to live. Jexay finish him off, and the payload may finally get there. Vancouver Titans with a ridiculous stall, but Soul Dynasty will at least make it to point C.
However, Doa, Soul had to use so much in order to make that work. They had to drop a Graviton Surge at the end. Takes a while to build that ultimate back up, so they get a little bit more time, a minute and a half more on the clock right now to push it through the studio phase of this map. They have to get it all the way to that VIP space at the very end.
I mean, this is the tough one, too. Point C is where you need the most time going into it because it's going to be the hardest. The respawns are closest. The geography is tough. Graviton Surge used by Vancouver. They've got Fleta down already. Whoa, Jaehong using the Transcendence. I do not think you want to use that. That was a lost fight. Seoul Dynasty kind of wasting an ultimate there.
Yeah, they did, but the Vancouver Titans, they only have the Reinhardt ultimate, the Earthshatter, available to them. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to hold on in this next engagement, especially if Seoul can work their way back up to another Graviton. They have 30 seconds to do it.
Right, Seoul Dynasty regrouping again. If they're not near that payload, it will start to roll backwards, as you can see. You got to stay on it as much as you can. Stalled out with both teams sitting on it at the moment. Seoul needs to push Vancouver off completely. Bumper waiting. He's got that Earthshatter ready to go. Is he going to find an opportunity? His last one got canceled. 10 seconds remaining. Seoul Dynasty getting aggressive. He got to do it. Ooh, that Earthshatter was absorbed by the shields from Seoul. No knockdowns out of that one. Now the rally comes in from Munchkin, giving his team that extra armor. We're into overtime, and Seoul has a long way to go here. They're gonna win, they're gonna need to win, not one, but multiple fights. Killing Bumper, it's a good start with that though. Graviton Surge used. Can they get anything more out of it? They can indeed. Soul and Sue Twilight going down as well. The payload is moving. Seoul in overtime will take any distance they can at this point.
Yeah, that said, Vancouver Titans, they're respawn very close to this point, so it's still going to be hard for Seoul to come back. Michelle almost there with an EMP. This has to work.
Michelle's EMP needs to be perfect if Soul's going to have any chance of finishing this map right here. He uses it, catches the tank. There's a sound barrier though. Slime not cut out, gets the shields on his team, but it looks like it may not matter. Soul was ready. They lose Munchkin. Jaehong popping that Transcendence. Too late to save his teammate, but maybe just in time to save his team. Slime a little bit down. Here comes Twilight back again on the Ana. You're not going to live long there. And Seoul Dynasty, I can't believe they've done it. They complete their attack on Hollywood.
They do, but with no time in the time bank, Noah. Vancouver Titans, however, are going to have to make it through that entire map here.
Well, like we said, it gets really difficult to complete point C on Hollywood sometimes, and the fact that Seoul Dynasty went to overtime so early in that final point, it's really kind of shocking that they actually got it done. So Vancouver Titans, man, they're a great team. Wouldn't be surprised to see them equalize, but you got to be a little bit rattled after that.
Yeah, Vancouver Titans now, they knew that EMP was up, which is why the Lucio Slime was hiding out of line of sight, so he wouldn't get hit. He was still able to use his abilities, but even though he got the sound barrier down, which gives a massive amount of shields to everybody on his team, they focus fire too good from Seoul Dynasty, and once they lost their first member, became very difficult, I think, for the Titans to win that last engagement.
The target calling looked really good by Seoul
Very
right at
clean.
the end there. When you pick somebody your team wants to take down, everybody needs to instantly snap to that. We're seeing from Slime's perspective here, he's avoiding that EMP, hiding behind the corner, hears it used. Now he can use that sound barrier to give his team that extra shields, but you just can't get healing there fast enough, it looks like, for Titans, and Seoul Dynasty gets those kills anyway.
Yes, they do. And now Titans going to be here on the attack. They must take this point, they must run the payload all the way through the map to force us into a time bank mode.
That's right. On ABC, we've got the Stage 1 Finals. One of these teams are going to be in it. Hard to say who it's going to be at this point. Maybe Vancouver, maybe Seoul. Either way, you don't want to miss it. Tune in then. Meanwhile, here on Hollywood, we switch sides. Vancouver Titans on the attack now. Seoul Dynasty going to try to defend.
And we're not going to see a Sombra here for the initial defense from the Dynasty, going with the Diva instead for Michelle. Okay, this is going to be a long loop around. What the Titans are trying to do is get control of the high ground of Cafe. Nope, it's a fake play onto the point. So just trying to move the Seoul Dynasty out of position by doing a feint.
Seoul didn't really seem too phased by that. Fissure is on the low ground. He's kind of trying to bait the team in there so his team can jump down behind. Going for it here. Might come back to haunt him, though. Fissure getting a little bit low, but he does live. Meanwhile, Jexa has to return to his team. Oh, and Slime down early, but right after that, Vancouver with a couple kills. Soul's not done yet, though. It's a brawl on the point right now, but it looks like it's going to be the Titans coming out barely ahead in the end. They lost a couple members, but it wasn't enough to be pushed off of that point completely, and that's going to be a really quick point A take by Vancouver.
Well, with the way professional Overwatch is played at the moment, as long as your Zenyatta and your Zarya are alive, you technically have the damage output
Pretty
in
much.
order to win shorthanded. So Twilight and Sominsu able to get the necessary damage out in spite of a sort of disastrous seeming play into the corner at first.
Yeah, just solid clutch play from a couple members of Vancouver. Bailing out the team there now. They're going to push forward with that rally. Fissure gets taken out early. Bumper used that Earth Shatter to set up some more kills, and Janu is going to grab 3 on the way out of that one. Whoa, that was cleanup, but that's still impressive. That feels good to pad the stats a bit like that if you're the Diva player.
Yeah, pretty late elimination though onto Fleta. You do have a 10-second respawn time, so it does take a while to recollect here as the rest of the team of the Seoul Dynasty simply must wait.
Yeah, you can see now kind of where Seoul Dynasty comes back from after they die. And meanwhile, you can see as well the blue team at the bottom pushing that payload closer and closer to the end of point B. And remember what a struggle it was for Seoul to get it there. Vancouver Titans, meanwhile, just kind of rolling through so far.
Okay, so you can see Sominsu here, 50% charge, that number in the middle of your screen, but he's trying to get that Graviton.
Wants to use that ultimate so badly. The Transcendence coming out early. That's an Earth Shatter coming in, though. Self-destruct, no kills out of that one. Does clear out a lot of the shields from Jexay's Sound Barrier. On the Seoul Dynasty side, now the response. The Shatter from Fissure knocks down Janu. Meanwhile, Self-destruct comes in from Seoul, but no kills. They do lose Munchkin in the process, and now Vancouver Titans starting to roll over Seoul yet again, and that's going to be point B taken, and look at how much time they have in the time bank. Up at the top of the screen, a little over 5 minutes remaining. Vancouver can pretty much casually waltz their way to the end of this one.
And what you just saw there is what we call a split spawn, meaning that Munchkin actually spawned before the point was taken when the defensive spawns change further back. So that means that sometimes you can get caught out in the front, and that just delays your defense even further because you only have 5 players.
Hiding out in the security room now, Seoul Dynasty jumping down onto the point to push Vancouver back a little bit here. Janu gets back in his Diva mech, as you can see. Now they get aggressive. Bumper diving in. They separated Fissure. They've killed Fissure, carving him off from his team, and then taking him out. Meanwhile, the rest of Seoul Dynasty just dying on the payload to try to just delay as long as they can. Jaehong and a few other members do get back to spawn and escape, but meanwhile, Vancouver, with a team fight win, going to get a lot more distance again on that payload.
I mean, Seoul has yet to win a team fight on this attack run from Vancouver, and now we're at the very end of the map. Having 4 minutes in the time bank would be absolutely massive for the Vancouver Titans.
I mean, if both teams complete it, we go into an extra round, but Vancouver's going to do it with a lot more time available to them if they can finish it right here. Seoul Dynasty needs to dig deep for the defense, and that's a great kill to start with, taking out Sominsu the Zarya early on. That's almost certainly a team fight win, and it will be. You can see immediately after the Zarya's gone, Titans are out of there, man. They're resetting.
Yeah, they have to go back. They lost their main source of damage on this team composition.
Right.
Somitsu was positioned very far forward there and was vulnerable to Munchkin. He got stunned on top of the payload, didn't have the necessary backup to stop the damage from coming in. And now Seoul, they've stabilized. They have a lot of options here for ult combinations. Watch for the self-destruct from the Diva, as well as the Graviton Surge from Fleta's Zarya.
It's all about efficiency now for Seoul. How long can you defend now that you won that first team fight on defense? It's nearly at the end, but you gotta get it done at some point. Fleta looking for a chance to use that Graviton Surge. It's gonna be used by Vancouver instead. Seoul weathers the storm. Oh, Fleta's grab got eaten by Janu though. That's a big problem. Now a big shatter comes in as well. Vancouver Titans all over Seoul Dynasty yet again. Seoul barely able to hold the payload back at all, and Vancouver pretty much there. Less than 2 meters to go, and they may get it as soon as they finish off Michelle out of the Diva mech, out of this Mortal Coil. Fissure